Hi everyone, my name is Neera, and I'm part of the Thesra team. And I know you have all been anxiously waiting for this session. But can somebody do me a favor, go to the app. Yes? Go to the app for me and tell me what this exciting session is called. And you can shout it out. Oh! That's cheating. That is so cheating. But use the app to check out the agenda. So this is the session you've all been waiting for. I have 3 wonderful celebrities, one of which has traveled across the world to be here, Georgia. And the reason I wanted you to be on the app is I want you to spend some time reading how wonderful and skilled these folks are so that I don't have to waste time and read it to you. But Georgia's traveled all the way. We will also hear from Sunita as well as Ramesh. And each of them are going to give us a perspective of their own experiences and how that is about really leveraging communications in different sectors and different issues. So you're going from having done a workshop. How hard was that workshop? Hard? Easy. Easy, hard. Okay, if it was really difficult, put your hand up. We won't judge you. It was really easy? Put your hand up. Up high. Easy? The previous one, this pen portrait problem. Easy? Hand up. Oh, good. Difficult? Hand up. You had no idea what was going on in that workshop, is the rest of you. I think what's really exciting to hear from the next 3 people will be their experience and their perspectives. We're going to have each of them speak to that, and then I'll bring 3 of them on stage, and I hope at that point you will have some exciting questions to ask of them. And so without further ado, if I can invite Georgia to the stage to share her story and experience.
Thank you very much. Well, it's a pleasure to be here, having flown. I'm here for a full, I believe it's 26 hours that I'm here for, which is somewhat ridiculous, but you know, what the hell, I'm game for anything. And so I see that I've got the post-lunch slot, but the good news is I get paid to talk about sex. So I thought maybe this would be a little bit more exciting than, well, not more exciting, sorry, but like just maybe change the tone a little bit from what you guys are spending your time talking about in terms of sanitation. But there are definitely links, and I guess that's one of the things that what we're trying to do is talk about how do we create behavior change and demand creation as well. And so I'm going to do it by talking about MTV Sugar. So if you haven't looked at the app, I am Georgia Arnold, and I run the MTV Staying Alive Foundation, which is a registered charity, which is unique in that we get to use the MTV brand in all of the work that we do. So today I want to talk to you about our award-winning campaign, MTV Sugar, which is, and where do I press this? Ooh, that doesn't work. MTV Sugar. Has anyone here heard of MTV Sugar? Oh, a few of you. Brilliant. Well, for the majority of you who haven't, MTV Sugar is a 360 mass media behavior change and demand creation campaign. And really what we do is, I guess, simple. We harness the power of media and entertainment to effect positive change in the sexual and reproductive health of young people. Obviously, using the MTV brand, young people are definitely our core target audience. But we also use rigorous research and youth-led design. I personally am not a fan of human-centered design because I think it's what we all are, but youth-led design so that we can inspire and motivate our youth audience. Now, at the very core of MTV Sugar is this TV show. It's a TV drama. It follows the lives and loves of a group of young people as they encounter sexual, social, and educational changes. And that core allows us to drive all of our messaging. But it also consists of a radio series, graphic novels, digital and social media, peer education, and community outreach as well. And since 2009, so we're about to celebrate our 10-year anniversary, we launched in Kenya. We are currently on Series 7, having gone to Nigeria and South Africa. We're doing a couple of new series in Cote d'Ivoire, back to Nigeria and South Africa, and more on this later, hopefully we're coming to India as well, which is very exciting. And I think that what we've done is really develop this unique culture of innovation and learning so that we can create this brand that is an effective agent of change across the African continent. I knew it wasn't going to work. I'm sorry. Oh, no, it keeps on going backwards. There we go. So, now, I'm going to tell you our reach, but I'm going to caveat with, I'm in India. So, this slide, when I'm speaking anywhere else around the world, everyone goes, ooh. And in India, you're like, yeah, sorry. But anyway, this is good. Trust me on this. Wait till we come to India. So we produce our content, rights cleared, and we give it away for free to any individual, any youth group, any university, or any broadcaster on any platform that wants to use it. So we reach 720 million homes around the world in 79 countries, and we have 180 broadcast platform partners that we work with, and a 270 million reach on social media. This is all soon going to change. But what I thought I would do before we go any further is just give you a little taster of what MTV Sugar is. Now, this is MTV Sugar through the ages. And remember that when we come to India, obviously, we will be embedded in Indian culture, Indian music, Indian youth. So this is for an African audience.
Hey! The #1 source for what's hot, who's hot, and where it's at.
He keeps on calling.
Obviously because you want more of what you gave him last night.
Money is not a condom. I mean, it won't save you from this disease. Say she saw you at the stage, you're walking off a very gisty car.
Oh, that was my uncle.
Oh, let me tell you something good doesn't even begin to describe last night.
Come on, dance with me.
Again.
We didn't use a condom last night again. I told you we need to talk. We need to get tested.
What?
You're negative.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
She doesn't know about my status.
She doesn't know about that.
I just haven't found the right time to tell her.
Tell her now.
Femi has HIV. I forbid you!
Dad, you forbid me. I'm not a child.
And baby, you have no idea how this feels.
I'm gay.
Ta-da! And the world didn't end, did it?
Tell them I didn't know about this.
Hey, what the heck, bro?
If you back down now, Reggie, no one will respect you.
So the messaging has really broadened from being HIV-specific focus to something that really sits on the much broader umbrella of sexual and reproductive health and rights as well. You saw our LGBT storyline there. And I think that this ability to use mass media platforms in a way that young people not only can relate to, but also sits on every single platform where they are, talking in their language, is what makes using mass media so exciting. And if we leverage this full scope of mass media, then we know that we can have an impact with them. And there is a real method to the madness of the way that we create our content. So we look at these in 4 levels around demand design, demand generation, demand conversion and user enhancement. And the first thing to say is that we position young people as very trusted and meaningful and credible partners. They absolutely have a seat at the table, and we listen to them. So they're incorporated into every single stage of our campaign cycle. So if the first part of the power of MTV Sugar lies in its ability to mirror young people's lives, then the first thing to say is we have to listen to them. And we listen to them before we have scripted anything, before we've come up with story outlines. We sit down with them and we understand from conversations with them, led by other young people, what they do when they wake up in the morning. Do they eat breakfast? Do they have milk with their cereal? How do they speak to their parents? How do they speak to their teachers? What different words do they use with their peers? What music do they listen to? So it's really, really understanding this. And these workshops that we run with them are all recorded, they're transcribed, and we pore over them in order to enable us to create the content and the scripts. The insights that we get from this turn into storylines, and the storylines turn into the scripts. Now these we then focus group again. So each script, we will go through 4 draft stages, hopefully, but there will be at least 2 focus groups for each script. So each time they'll tell us, but I would never say that, or yes, that really does reflect my life, or but I think that she should do this, and we incorporate it as we go. So young people are very much at the table. The next thing that we do is demand generation. So if what we're trying to do here is not only to increase young people's knowledge, but to get them to take note and to make changes in their life, we have to embed the SRH messaging into the very fabric of our content. So we do that through maybe placing a service provider as part of the storyline. And through digital media, we can make sure that we're directing our audience towards our partners, and our TV and our radio always will direct at the end of each episode through to helplines at the end of the show. These helplines across Africa, we work with Mary Stopes, will have specific MTV Sugar telephone numbers, so we can track who's phoning because of MTV Sugar. What we saw with MSI in South Africa was that their calls to their phone line increased by nearly 20%. And in Nigeria, we've just heard that what they're seeing now is 80% of their calls are from under 18s since MTV Sugar has been using their helpline, and they've never had that before. And that's the age that they're aiming at. Now, once having created demand, generated demand, we now need to convert it and make sure that we can mark out clearly the path that young people have access to sexual reproductive health services. Now, the hardest part of this, and I know you all know this, is that we have to turn demand into real action. And that is a very difficult process. But later on, I can show to you that it does work. And then finally, we have user enhancement. Now, the problem with filming a TV drama is it's not very flexible. Once you've written the scripts where it is flexible, then you need to make sure that you can respond to the audience as they're watching it. And we do make sure we can adapt in real time. And the way that we do that is through in-show polling, on-the-ground activities and digital media, and make sure that we can generate this feedback loop that constantly harvests their thoughts and preferences. So in South Africa, we do this end-of-show polling, generating 250,000 responses around key questions on HIV and sexual reproductive health. And based on these, we can address gaps in knowledge as we go forward and put them to more digital content, and also as we develop future scripts. Now, one really important thing in all of this, for me, is the use of the MTV brand. It's our USP. Youth around the world, whether they watch it or not, and whether we, perhaps not as youth, approve of it or not, it is recognized, respected, and trusted. And by using the MTV brand, what it allows us to do as the content creators is give us a seat at the table with young people. But we don't do this by ourselves. We absolutely can't. So we work with the broadest range of partners, from governments to foundations to NGOs and service providers. We do that for funding, but we also do it for technical expertise and to make sure that what we're sending our young people to, they can get really good service providers as well. So, We know that in South Africa, I just want to sort of give you an idea in terms of the impact that we can have. So in South Africa, we're broadcast on SABC1, which is the equivalent of Doordarshan here. Now, when we air, we are the #1 rated drama every week on SABC1. We're reaching over 12% of the audience every week, and that's about 3 million people weekly. What that means, if you don't take into account the other 179 broadcast partners, if you don't take into account the eyeballs on YouTube, that one channel alone is a 90 cents per person cost. So there's a huge return on investment. But it's not just about reach, it's also about impact. So the World Bank did a RCT on MTV Sugar, reaching 5,000 young people over 6 months. And what they showed that those who watched MTV Sugar were twice as likely to get tested for HIV 6 months after watching the show than those who hadn't watched it. And we did biomarkers for chlamydia, and we saw a reduction of chlamydia over 6 months of 58% amongst young women. And those young women were choosing fewer and safer partners. Now, here comes India. So, just before I do that, I'm going to take 30 seconds of my allotted time left to show you a spot that we made 15 years ago. It's got nothing to do with coming to India, but I love it, and I love the fact that I finally get to play it in India.
I was born to fly, fly in the face of danger. I am Cannon Kumar, and I fly to the roar of the crowd, the boom, boom of a cannon. Every flight is turbulent, ladies and gentlemen, every landing a lesson. Yet I arise, only to fall again, boom, boom. And although my bones have been broken, bones can be repaired, but not hearts, for they are fragile. I know, because I love women as they love me. And although I risk all in life, I risk nothing in love. Condom, condom, condom. Because love is too precious to risk, and you must keep your love alive.
You can tell how old that is because we've got the old school MTV logo on there, which is rarely seen these days. But we are coming to India. We're going to be producing a new localized version of MTV Sugar. Its working title is MTV Nished, but we're going to be testing that title out with young people. Coming to a country as vast and diverse and populated as India is challenging, and we take that challenge really seriously. But I think it's through having the right partners that we can make a real impression. We are working with Viacom 18, so they have a rich history and experience in pro-social work. I think they're working with some of you now on sanitation. They produced the film Toilet, so we're working with great people, but their broadcast platform for us is immense. So we will be broadcast on MTV India, on Voot Online, and on Rishti, as well as working with Colors and their 34 other partners as well. We're working with SIF on this project, and then a lot of other partners, some of you who are in this room, but we haven't signed contracts, so I won't name your names yet. And we're going to be focused on the Northern Belt in northern Hindi-speaking India, in Raipur, Ranchi, Delhi, but also a little bit in Bihar as well. And I think, just finally, to say that as a campaign, MTV Sugar is focused on the sexual and reproductive health of young people. What we know from MTV Sugar and what we've seen over 9 years of work is that actual measurable change can be effected through a variety of ways and using a variety of mediums. And media and entertainment have the ability, working alongside service providers, to reach target audience in a way that very few other industries can. So by leveraging this sector and working with the right partners with aligned strategic goals, we know that we can affect change. Such progress and impact does not come overnight, but when it does come, we think it has the potential to last a lifetime. So I'm hoping that we can have lots more conversations, and I'm really excited to be working here in India. Thank you very much.